What is up, everybody? Make sure y'all can hear me out there. We're good. We're good. Levels is good. Okay, so welcome everybody to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I am your host, Davin Jackson. We got a lot to get into this evening. I'm sorry, I can't find my words, which is gonna be kind of rough to do a podcast if I'm doing that. But like I said, we got a lot to discuss this evening. But before we even do any of that, first I'm going to do a special round of applause. We're gonna do this. The reason for that is because Ketanji Brown Jackson was selected to be in the Supreme Court. So we made history. And again, I'm just gonna it might not be a big deal for some, but it's everything to me. So again, congratulations to her and her family on the nomination and securing the nomination. And I wish the best, and I honestly hope that all the foolishness and the fuckery can move on. Now, with that being said, my guest tonight is a network engineer. She is a mentor. She is a founder, and she is doing a lot of things to help the kids. And as we know, the children are the future. And that's why I titled this episode, Teaching Tech to the Future. My guest tonight is Adrian McClanahan, also known as Chic Diva Geek on Twitter and Instagram. And let's welcome her to the show. How you doing?
Hey. I'm gonna clap again. I'm clapping for like that's the energy I'm following today. It's a good day.
Yes, it is. So again, thank you for joining. I know you are a busy woman, but I am so glad you agreed to do this. But for those who aren't familiar with you, please give a brief introduction.
Oh, okay. Elevator pitch real quick. Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian McClanahan, and shout out to Davin for saying my last name correctly. I am a network engineer, network center engineer. So I work in a data center. I've been in tech for almost 15 years. I started at Help Desk, transitioned over to Ops, which I think Help Desk, there's a great place to start. Have my bachelor's in network information systems. What else? I'm a mom and a wife. I have a teenager, so no little people around here. And I started my tech summit 5 years ago because this whole lack of diversity thing, we know it's a thing. I'm trying to plant these seeds early so we can get these kids in here. I'm trying to flood the pipeline. That's what I tell people. So you can't say you can't find the talent. I think that's it.
Okay, so again, thank you for that. We're gonna get in. We're gonna get into to all those details in a little.
Yeah, that's why I said let me reel this in. I'm talking too much. So.
So no, you're fine. So again, thank you for joining. For those who are sending me comments, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, the stream is probably a little choppy. I'm not sure. Maybe everybody is streaming. You know, kids are home for spring break and everything. So, forgive me if it's a little choppy, but we'll get through it. So, you talked about it briefly that you started at the help desk, but why don't you elaborate into how you got started and what led you in your career progression to where you are now?
So most people have an idea of what they want to do when they, graduate. This is my career path. I didn't know that. I got my diploma and was like, now what? I happened to take a computer class as an elective in my first year of college. I went to community college and it just came very naturally to me. My teacher was like, why don't you sign up for, something else? You seem to be really good at this. He's like, you're kind of going through my curriculum a little fast. So I did that. And I was like, I like this. I'm not bored because that's the kind of learner I am, worker I am. If I'm bored, it's not good. So I wanted something that would keep me engaged, that would challenge me. And that's what tech does. So I finished my degree in a non-traditional way because I did go to online school because I had my son when I was younger. So we did online school. And I started actually not even at the help desk. My very first job before the help desk was like a 9-month window. I worked for the copier company, Rico. Teaching people how to use copy machines because I didn't have it. When you break into tech, they're like, you need experience. How am I supposed to have experience if I just got here. So I
Right.
started there, and then I kept applying for help desk jobs. I was like, because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm good at it. I like touching, being hands on with things. And I worked there for about 6 years, just trying to, learning, still studying, but working with computers, helping people. Like I like to help people. So that was an easy transition for me. But it wasn't a boom, you get your degree, you in tech. It took me like lots of no's, lots of applying to even get to the help desk. Like, so it's not as
Oh yeah, talk
instant as
about
people want to believe. Like it's not oh, you got your degree, your resume looks good. Cause I had, the nice, pretty revamped resume. Like, okay, I have experience. I've done my education. And it was just like, no, you don't have no experience. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get the experience if you don't hire me? I was
it.
like, where is the experience supposed to come from? So it wasn't easy. And then once I got there, you still have to prove yourself. Once you get there, they're like, okay, we hired you with no experience for real. So show us what you got.
Yep.
And that also includes learning the company culture, because that's a whole nother part that people, like, you have to learn the company as well as what you're doing.
And learn where you fit in that culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes you do have to find different ways and different corners to cut to get in. Like I tell people all the time, um, my first tech job was because I actually volunteered to work more hours at my job. So
Wow.
I was a home theater installation tech at Circuit City. So think about how far back that goes. And then their PC bench tech quit,
No.
and they were about to hire somebody, and I was trying to get my foot in the door, and I told them, well, instead of hiring somebody new, why don't you give me like a couple more dollars and
Mm-hmm.
let me work the PC bench when I'm not doing home theater installs. And
Right.
that's pretty much how I got my foot in the door. That's how I gained a lot of experience because the computer that I had brought the computer that I had brought home with me from the military wasn't that great anymore. It was really old, and I needed to work on a computer as I was like learning how to, learning the ins and outs of the A+ certification. So I'm literally
Right.
fixing stuff and going, oh, okay, so that's what that is, and that's what that is. But yeah, that's how I ended up having to do it. And then after that, I still needed to gain more experience after Circuit City closed, so I had to work at like cable companies doing like their call centers, or I worked at a rehab center for a little while doing basically doing IT work as a
Wow.
like part time. So I had to do that part time and then work another job part time just to kind of build up that
You paid
experience.
your dues.
Oh yeah,
You paid your dues. Like, and that's something that people don't think about either, because that's how I transitioned over to the ops side. I didn't, clearly they're like help desk, like it was an internal hire, but I feel like she works at the help desk. She doesn't know. So when they would have projects that involve the entire department, hey, we need after hours volunteers, me,
yeah,
I'm coming. Like, hey, yes, it was extra money, but I'm learning. Like, I'm asking questions. I'm learning what you guys are over here doing, what technology runs behind the scenes. Like, yeah, I support you guys from the user end, but I want to know what's happening over here. So I would stay after a lot to
yeah,
try to, and pick, and they were open to it too. So they're like, yeah, sure.
yeah. And
And they'll
see,
ask away.
yeah, and see when we get into I guess teaching kids or stuff. I mean, I know they're not kids, but that's what we try to tell people, younger people who are trying to get into tech now. Like, it's some work. It's not just, oh, get this certification and get this degree, and then you're gonna get here and get the bag. Like, you're gonna
Mhm.
have to pay your dues. And when you say that, unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of younger folk or in this generation, they look at that as some form of gatekeeping. It's like, I'm not, trust me, the last thing I want to do is keep you
Right.
from getting here. But but it's just when you tell them it's going to take some time and it's going to take some setbacks and some work and some paying dues, and like you said, working extra hours and volunteering extra time to do things and learn different technologies. It's like they cringe at that.
Because they want instant gratification. They're like, I did this result. No, 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 no. Nobody that you see where they didn't get to where they are yesterday. Like, they've been here, like they've been doing the work. And
Yeah,
honestly, in tech, you have to go through a couple of iterations to really learn, because this job kind of parlays into this job. Knowledge from this job lays into the next one. Like, there's all these things. You can't just, it's not how it works. It's not how
right.
any of this works.
And also, and also, there's a hold on. We just gonna do this real quick. Where is it?
Hey, listen.
All right. So, but the other thing is, there's benefits to putting in the work because, like you just mentioned, the transferable skills. Like, there's a lot of things that you can learn that you can bring with you. Like I tell people all the time, don't don't throw shade at the help desk because the help desk will teach you things that will take you further into your career.
Listen,
The
tell the people
the
you need
communication,
them
yeah,
skills.
the communication skills, working under pressure, because ain't nothing like being on the phone with someone who can't get on the internet and they need the internet to do whatever it is
And
they
they
need to
stressed
do,
out.
and they're stressed out and they're calling you all kinds of names and you have to make that happen. Like I said, the communication skills, written and verbal,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't get paid in this field without without those skills.
You
So,
have to.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
people forget those. It's like, because now, even working from the ops side, yes, there's very little user interaction. But I tell them all the time when we're in meetings, I'm like, hey, maybe we should, move this around. Why? Because it's going to impact the users. Like, maybe we should push this back. I was
Right.
like, because the help desk is going to get bombarded. We're not going to know what's going on. We'll get one email saying, hey, lots of calls. But meanwhile, they're trying to figure out which way is up because we've decided to implement some type of change and didn't pass that message along. And then even when you're trying to get pushing changes in IT, because software changes,
Mhm.
policies change, you try to, hey, this is the change. Getting the users to understand why the change is necessary, because they're like, well, this has been working. Why are you changing it?
Yep.
We need to. I was like, so you have to be able to communicate that in a way that they understand, and then not in it because I said so kind of way. Because there are definitely those people, and they're like, it's our network. Yeah, but we kind of work for them just a little bit. We kind of work for those people,
Yeah.
kind of.
Right. No, absolutely. So you talked about paying your dues, and now you're a network control center engineer. So talk about what that day to day is, and break down that job, because a lot of titles mean a lot of different things. And
Hmm.
so what's that title mean for you?
So for me, it is back in support of our company's data center. So anything from racking, mounting servers, running cabling. Occasionally, we don't touch switches all the time because we have a whole nother team for that, but we do help them, support those devices as well. And of course, making sure the infrastructure is up and running. So that's monitoring, which a lot of people don't talk about, which is actually a very consuming job, making sure things are running, performing properly. If there's, weird things, anomalies happening, all right, what's that? We need to get to the root of what's causing, this network lag. Why is this application running properly? So it's lots of dashboards involved when there's not new servers or new hardware being implemented, which thankfully has not been. That it's calmed down a little bit. So that day to day, making sure systems are up and running, business critical systems, and then implementing any new things that come down the pike, supporting our application developers, all those people that do coding, all that wonderful stuff. We support those guys.
Right.
But
Now you
that's
talk.
a broad
Yeah,
gist of it.
that's a broad gist of it. But do you think now you talked about how there aren't a lot of heavy changes going on. Do you think the implementation of like the cloud with the scalability and everything, do you think that plays a part in it, or is it just they're just a lot smarter when and where to deploy certain things?
I think it's a little bit of both. And I think the cloud makes a lot of, companies that are long standing, that change takes a little longer to implement because things have been done a certain way for so long. So you're like, hey, we're going to do this way. So it's making sure that that change is smooth. Like you got this business department, this business part, like all of these things that, people that it affects. So you have to kind of lots of meetings, lots of, hey, this is going to go this way now, lots of change management. So I think that's why it's not, they don't tumble on us because there's a lot of T's and I's to dot and cross. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what keeps it from being like a massive flood.
Okay. So before we go any further, I just want to give a shout out. Where are we? Shout out to my pack. Again, thank you for joining. If you don't know already, this is InfoSec Unplugged. I'm Davin Jackson. This is my guest, Adrian McClanahan. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about helping kids, and we're going to talk about a few other topics. And hopefully you listen. So pay attention. Hopefully we drop some gems for you. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are live. You can check us on Twitter. You can check us on Twitter. Jeez. Check us out on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. I probably will come back on Twitter at some point, but not today. So again, for those that don't know the rules, you can join the conversation, you can join the pack, and you can pretty much ask me or my guest anything, but just remember to keep it clean and respectful because it won't end well for you. So again, the show is about learning and learning from one another and building. So let's continue to build. So, Adrian, moving on in your career, what challenges have you faced or that you still face?
Still facing. I get verified often. So although I am the leader on a lot of technologies in our data center and I'm the primary contact, I will propose something in a meeting and it'll go around. They're like, hey, so what do you think? Wait, whoa. I just said what I said, but clearly there's not really, I haven't found a professional way to say this. I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, we're going to circle back on that. No, we're not going to, the answer is not going to change because you're asking someone else. They're going to come and ask me and tell you the same thing because this isn't their thing. This is not their platform. This is not their tool. It's mine.
Right.
So I still deal with that. It's gotten lighter, but it's still like, I'll notice it. I'm like, He's like, you okay?
Oh man, you see, you about to get me on a rant. But yeah, I call it, I feel like I call it you have to justify your existence. And even with, I'm on year 15 or 16 now, I still feel like I have to justify my existence, or I have to what he said in the 5 Heartbeats, I was like, every night I gotta fight for my love. Like, I feel like
that's my movie. I'm sorry. Like, I can see the scene. I'm sorry.
But it's like, that's how I feel. I feel like it's like every night I gotta fight to show I belong here, right? And
right.
It's ridiculous that you have to do that with your credentials and with your experience. And it's like, okay, so because I don't know what your insecurities are, but now you're putting me in a position where I feel like I have to do something to satisfy you, and that's
right.
not that's not how it works. So
not at all.
yeah, and it's getting a little better. I remember 5 years ago, or actually maybe even sooner than that, when I started my blog. Every time I put up an article, it was literally, there's always one that's like, and what gives you those qualifications? Or you're on a Discord chat or a thread in social media, and it's like, hey, I need advice for the CISSP or whatever, and I'm like, oh, here's this, and here's this, and they're like, well, how would you know? I'm like,
excuse me, pardon me.
Maybe that damn piece of paper that says CISSP on it.
Right, like, because I took it, I have it.
Yeah, so it sucks, and it's kind of just like they tell you to roll with the punches, but
like, how long I gotta roll though? How long do I have to keep rolling? I
don't got that Mayweather defense. I can't, block everything with my shoulder and weave. At some point, you gonna hit something, and I'm gonna hit back. But again, I'm behave myself. So let's see real quick. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We got a couple people. So Maddox says, hey, hello team. What's up, Maddox? I know we missed you the last couple weeks on the tail end. Jonathan Reed says, as a network engineer, is there some type of project you can do or create in order to add your portfolio to show you have proper experience for employers? So take that one.
I know when I started, there weren't as many tools, but I know now there are. Like, there's all types of virtual labs and of course, with cyber, try hack me. There's all these different platforms out there that you can use to help build your skill set up. But like we touched on earlier, volunteer. Like if you're at a tech company already, volunteer to help with whatever is going on, because they 9 times out of 10, if it's a huge project, they're going to need extra hands. Or just reach out to someone within the company. And I know sometimes it's weird. Everyone doesn't mentor. Everyone doesn't like to answer questions, but just say, hey, what are you guys working on? If I can help, or pick people's brain. I did it at work. Like when I briefly was like, I'm gonna do project management. We had one project manager. I picked her brain for a little bit, and I was like, this isn't technical enough for me. So that's what steered me away. I was like, she just kind of oversees a lot. I was like, I still want to do stuff.
Right. I think for me, what I would say is, I know you said everybody doesn't want to, mentor and speak and stuff, but what everybody does do is social media. So, write blogs, write social media threads, write lengthy social media posts. If you can't put it in Twitter, like I said, if it doesn't fit in one Twitter tweet, do multiple Twitter tweets.
Do a thread. Start a thread.
You don't want to start your own blog. Go on resources like Medium. Go on GitHub. Sign up for a GitHub account and write up a blog there, and direct people to your GitHub. The reason being is you're showing your technical experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing your technical experience, and you're showing, it shows like it's like a passion, right?
Right. Like you have the interest. You're doing the independent studying on your own. Like they like that a lot. They're like, oh, you've been doing this research all by yourself.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, hold on. The good brother Charles Share, BSD Bandit, says, hello, everyone. Ow, yip, yip. Had to do it in his voice. And then he says, make video blogs or video streams. No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Go do like we're in a world now where you can stream everything, right? I mean, I just saw that people are doing Twitch streams of you watching them read silently. Let me tell you something. Again, I'm about to go on a little rant. I said one of my goals was to get on that Twitch list that came out last year when the breach happened and they leaked the finances of most of their streamers. And I said, look, I don't need to be in the top 10. You could put me in the top 100,000. I could be 100,115 because they still making decent money on the side. If you're telling me that I can't put out content teaching tech or cybersecurity, but people are making thousands of dollars just putting a stream of them reading. They're not reading to you. It's not read a long time. It's literally I had to look it up, because when I saw it, I said, this can't be real life. No,
that's a real thing.
It's real life. So yeah, it got me thinking maybe I'm hustling backwards. But
clearly I could be knocking out my book list and making some money.
2 birds, 1 stone. Right. So to Charles' point, yeah, do some video streams, because there's going to be an audience for it. So, promote it on social media, get people to share it. I know that's, that goes into another word we talk about with support, which whatever, but, and get people to come to where you're at. I mean, look where you are now. You're here with me and Adrian. So, why not start your own stream? So again, thank you for your question, Jonathan. So Adrian, so on top of that, I saw that, you're also a website designer.
I am. That's the part I left out in my elevator pitch.
That's okay. I got you. We do our homework here on InfoSec Unplugged. So you're a website designer. Now that's something you don't really see all the time, because most people who are on one side of tech are usually, okay, I'm over here doing the network or security stuff, and then usually website designers, even though it's not considered coding, website designers are usually over there on the developer side of things. So
yeah, developer, UX, UI.
Yeah. So is that a hobby of yours, or how that come to be?
So it's a legit business. Like it's a business. I got an actual business doing it, but it started because operations, help desk, there's no creative outlet. Like I'm already, you get into tech. Everyone's like, come fix everything. She can fix this, even if it's not what I do. Can you fix it? I can't fix that. I don't fix phones. That's the kind of thing. So I was doing little odd things for people. And this is about five years ago. A couple of friends, well, hey, I'm starting a business. I have a website. Can you help me with some stuff on the back end? So, okay, I have technical, knowledge. I'm like, it can't be that hard. Let me go look. And I would look about, okay, let's do this. And I was like, I like this. I was like, it's a little bit of a creative outlet because I'm not artsy by no means. I can't paint, I can't draw, I can't do none of that. I don't have those skills. But I was like, okay, what if, I was like, let me do another one. I was like, okay, this isn't terrible. And then, of course, that turned into a referral. And then another one, I was like, oh, like, I think this is a legit side hustle. I was like, I can do this. It was like, and it was in my downtime. And so I was like, let's make this let's do this the right way. And I kind of turned it into a business. It started as a blog, honestly, because I just like to share tech tips. Like we were saying, blog, video streams. Like I wrote about things that were happening in tech in a way that was easy for people to digest. Because of course they're going to ask me tech questions, but it needs to make sense. I can't be like, oh, go read this white paper. They're going to be like, do what? Right. Like that doesn't mean anything to the average person. So it started as a blog, transitioned into helping people, and now it's its own little business. I'm about to say, so it's a good creative outlet for me because I can help people on the tech side, but I can also make it look aesthetically pleasing visually. So I was like, I get to play with colors and fonts, so it works.
And what the Joker say in the Dark Knight movie? If you're good at something, never do it for free. So, so there's that. There's that.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's a market.
Because it does take time. It takes time. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't take that long. If it does, you wouldn't be if it was that easy, you wouldn't be talking to me. You did it already.
But guess what? Even if it didn't take a lot of time, you still have to know how to do it. So whether it costs a little bit of time or whether it costs you a lot of time, this is what it's going to cost you.
Right. You're paying people. It's like you're paying for the skill set that you don't have. That's what you're paying for.
Exactly. So supply and demand. Now, follow-up question, and hopefully this doesn't get you in trouble. Which one do you enjoy more?
Oh, you know what? That's a double-edged one. I do enjoy the website design because it's easier. Not gonna lie, but there is much more user interaction because it's service. You're providing a service to someone. Whereas when I'm in ops, I'm in data center, there's very little user interaction. So it's like, this is what you're doing. This is what you're fixing. All right, but you go. I said there's lots of back and forth with website design with your clients. They're like, oh, can we tweak this? Or, hey, I don't like it. Throw the whole design in the trash. Like there's a lot of peopling. That's what I call it. It's like, I've hit my people quota now, y'all. All right, bye. So I do enjoy website design more. Like it's easier, but I also you heard me earlier. I was like, when I get bored, so like I told people I would never do it full time. They're like, why? I was like, I love what I do. I do. Does it have headaches? Absolutely. But I love what I do.
Right. So, okay. Let me see real quick. Making sure we're good on the comments. All right. So now, one thing that I talk about a lot. Actually, you know what? We're having some technical difficulties, so I'm just gonna take my mug off the screen, and we're just gonna focus on you, Adrian, because nope, that's backwards. That was me. So we're gonna focus on you, because I don't know what's going on over here on my end. But how has tech helped you?
Oh man. First off, of course, it has, helped me take care of my son because for a long time I'm married now, but it was just me and him. So it definitely helped me find a career path and something that was stable to help raise him, take care of him, make sure he had everything he needed, and let me kind of survive on my own. It's opened up a lot of doors. Like you're not confined to tech per se. Like, so these skills can go to any company. That's what I tell people. I'm like, you don't have to work for a tech company. Every company has tech in it. So even if you like fashion and things, those people have IT people somewhere in there. There's back-end tech there. Even if it's at the very base of, they have a website and they have email, someone manages that. That's tech. So I was like, for me, it's opened up so many avenues. Even if it's just a matter of someone coming, I've connected with people just from providing some type of technical support from them, and then that transitions into an full blown business relationship. Sometimes they turn into friends. So it's just opened up a lot of doors, and that I didn't even think about at the time, when it was just like, I need a stable career that I actually enjoy. So
Right.
and then with the teaching the kids, like that was a part-time job too. Like it's opened up a lot of doors, and it doesn't not necessarily in the getting the bag right out the gate kind of door, because that wasn't my goal when I first started. It was just, I need a stable career. That's
Right.
it.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's, again, that's important, because a lot of us, we didn't know where to go to do anything stable, right?
You're
You
supposed to go get a good government job. That's what you're supposed to get. That's what they
you're so-
told us when we
yeah,
graduated.
you're supposed to get a good government job. I'm gonna take myself off the screen again, but you go get a good government job, or you get yourself a good corporate job after you get your
Mm-hmm.
4-year degree, or you go ahead and you become a doctor or whatever it is, and then that doesn't work for everybody. And some people, I
Mm-mm.
mean, truth be told, some people aren't college ready or college material. Some people is like, hey, look, high school is that's my
They
limit,
like,
and then
they
you
don't want
have
to do
those,
it.
yeah. Then you have those like me, where like I said, I came out of the military and I tried my hand at a bunch of different things, and after those things crash and burned, it was like, okay, well, I'm a new father. I got a bunch of stuff going on, and I at that time, like, I'm not going to go ahead and go get a bunch of student loans and stuff like that in the
Right.
next 4 years. And although it was an instant gratification, I felt like that moving in the route that I did, with going the certification path and trying to work while I was, gaining my experience and eventually building my career, was probably the better option, because it went from, we really didn't have any money coming in because I wasn't working like that, to, okay, now I got myself a little job. I can do this. I'm learning myself a skill on the side. When Circuit City went out of business and it took me a while to find another job, I was able to do little side hustles and,
Mm-hmm.
fix people's computers on the side and do all type of things like that. And, it ordered me a lot of things. And now I'm in a position where, yeah, we're doing all right. We're not out here balling, but I, I definitely,
But you comfortable, like, we all right. I can take care of my family. We got what we can get what we need.
yeah, and we look, and we can have conversations about things that weren't normal to us, like saving and investing
Mm-hmm.
and generational wealth and things like that. It's like, now we can be like, oh, I can actually put some money to the side for something. We don't have to live paycheck to
Right.
paycheck anymore. And it all comes from what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like that probably was one of the at least for me, I know that was one of the motivations for me to want to get into the teaching and training space and wanting to help people get into tech. And I'm assuming that that's also one of the driving factors behind you creating the Flash Tech Summit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
so go ahead and talk about that process and how that came to be.
So this is my baby. This is the fifth one. And initially I was like, I want to teach kids. I was like, I want to help get more kids. Like, I didn't know what that looked like when I first started, when the desire hit me. And I was like, okay, maybe I can just teach a little workshop here and there. And then I was like, oh, I don't have any of the tools. I don't have any, software, extra computers. I don't have any of this stuff. So I was like, I reached out to our local rec center to see if they needed teachers for stuff they already had. She said, oh, no, we do need teachers, but we don't have a tech curriculum. I said, oh. She's like, can you write one? I was like, oh. So I sat down, did a little digging. I said, okay, we can, I just started with scratch. I was like, okay, we'll start here. And I was just like, I'll do it for free. I was volunteering. I was like, I really wanted to do it. And I wasn't really concerned about being on their payroll. And just full disclaimer, like, it does not pay much. And I still don't care. I was like, honestly, I wanted to do it. So she's like, okay, I like the curriculum. She's like, let's do it and see if we get kids to sign up. And for about a year and a half, I had back-to-back consistent seasons of classes where they were full of kids. I told her we had to cap it, though. I was like, it's just me in here. I can't have 20 kids. asking me questions about code at the same time. No one's going to learn anything and we'll all be struggling. And then their parents are going to be upset that they spent their money. So after that, I told her, I said, hey, I think I want to do like, they have STEM fairs and stuff. I said, I think I want to do something that's just centered around tech though. But I was like, I want it to be free. She frowned at me at first. She was like, excuse me. I was like, I'm a mom. I was like, I know sometimes I only got one kid. I was like, and sometimes I was like, paying for this here and this there. I was like, it adds up. I was like, some of these people have multiple kids. I was like, I want kids to learn tech early. I was like, I didn't figure it out until I was graduating. I didn't even know what those kids down in our vocational academy were doing in there. They didn't advertise that very well in high school. I was like, y'all are fired. I could have been doing this. They didn't tell you what it was. You had to already be interested in it to know what it was. I was like, no, we need to let kids know. Right. I was like,
or for some of us, they make it seem like, that's, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You go do something else. Yeah.
Right. So they didn't steer us towards it. I was like, and when you think of computers, at least when I graduated, I was like, it was, it was circuit boards, motherboards, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I said, but there's so many other things and facets to tech now. I don't want our kids thinking, oh, I have to know how to program to be in tech, or I have to be able to, run network, cables, support switches. You don't have to do all of it. There's all these different areas of tech that you can go into. So I was like, I want to do different workshops so kids can learn about different areas real quick and their parents can see what they're interested in. Because what we would end up getting at the rec center is parents not forcing, but they would sign their kids up like, oh, I want them to be a programmer. I was like, they have to kind of want to do it, kind of have to enjoy it a little bit. Can't force it on them. Please don't do that. And I definitely had parents that had kids in there that really didn't want to be there. So that was always interesting. So I was like, I want it to be free because I don't want cost to be a barrier to somebody coming and learning and getting that exposure. I was like, we could have I was like, whoever's sitting in our midst, but their parents don't have the money or the means to sign them up for these extra classes or buy them the new computer that they can tinker with. I was like, so I didn't want that. So she gave in and it ended up being free. And so every year the focus is to give different workshops, just different areas of tech. And recently, the last 3 years, I added a panel because like I said, something's missing. I was like, yes, they're doing these workshops, but what are they getting? So I was like, I added the lunch and learn panel, which in person, they actually do eat lunch during the panel because they're kids and I need them to pay attention. But different Black professionals in IT sit on the panel and speak. The kids get to ask them questions because I want our kids to see that they can do this. Like I could tell them all day. I was like, we can have anybody, read them a speech, watch a video. I was like, I needed them to see that someone that looks like them is in the space they want to be in, is doing the job they want to do, can help them, give them actual, advice, how do you do this or how do you navigate? And the very first year I had it, my friend Adam, he used to work at VMware and he, a young man in that, like the boy hadn't said anything the entire time he was all the way in the back, hadn't said a word. He was just like, excuse me. I was like, oh, we got a question. I was excited because nobody was asking questions. We had questions, but they weren't asked. He said, how do I show up as myself in a room full of people that don't look like me? I said, who? I was like, how long you been sitting on that? Ooh. And he's a teenager. So this was an important question for him. Like he's getting ready to graduate. And Adam was like, he's like, you show up as you. He's like, you don't cower when you walk into any room because you have every right to be there, even if you're the only person that looks like you. But he needed to hear that from him. He couldn't have heard it from me. He couldn't have heard it from the lady hosting the panel. None of that. It needed to come from him. So I was like, no, the panel has to be a thing every single year. And every year it adds that element, like the kids get to ask the questions. So I am really excited that we're in our 5th year. Like it's my goal, like I said, I'm flood the pipeline. You can't say the talent's not there. You can't say that now for real, but they keep trying that. But I was they keep trying. I was like, no, you're not looking. I'm like, if we get these kids, plant the seeds early enough, I was like, half of these kids will have degrees, dual degrees before they get out of high school because those programs exist now. I was like, they're going to know. I was like, they're going to be creating apps before they graduate. All these things, like the talent is there. The curiosity is there. We just have to give them access to these things so they can learn about it. And that's not no knock to no traditional roles that we were given, like you said, doctors, lawyers, good government jobs. Like all those roles are needed, but they can do this too.
Yep. Hold on. We're going to give you a round of applause for that. And then,
Thank you. Thank you.
so, yes, congratulations on it being 5 years.
Thank you.
And that's a huge milestone. And yeah, absolutely, representation does matter. And sometimes there are certain things that, have to be said from certain people for people to get it. I think of one of the things I did for a camp. One of my talks that I gave was it was like I called it hacking and gaming, because I wanted people to know that a lot of things when you hear about people doing pen tests or hacking, you think, oh, it's this super hard job, and yeah, it is super hard and it's super analytical. But for those of us who play video games, and a lot of kids do play a lot of video games, we talk about transferable skills. There are a lot of transferable skills you can get from video games, that will help you on a pen test. So, for example, I used Fortnite as an example, where you launch into the field, and the first thing you do is you survey your area, and you start looking for different supplies. And then after you start looking for different supplies, you start moving around again, trying to make sure that you're not detected so no one tries to pick you off. And then you notice someone might be building a structure, right? So now oh, there's a sign that someone's there. So what do? You go over there, you start knocking down the structure. You might find a person, you start taking shots at them. Boom, you knock down their shield. Now they're vulnerable. Now you get close enough, or you take out a stronger weapon to take them out. Once you take them out, they drop all of their supplies on the floor. You loot them, and then you go back and you do it all over again until you get to the end screen, whether you lose or you win. And then what happens? You get a report of the stats. So how many kills, how many assists, what did you do here, how long were you there? And that's actually a lot of phases of a pen test. So, for example, you do your enumeration and your scanning. That's when you first land on the field and you're surveying the area. You scan the area. You say, "Oh, that looks interesting. That looks like a vulnerable service." You go over there. You notice that there is a vulnerability there. You start poking and prodding at it. Boom, their shields are down. You realize, okay, they're vulnerable. Now you take out your big weapon. It could be in Fortnite, and it's a shotgun, and in pen testing, it could be Metasploit. You throw the right exploit at it, boom. Now you gained access to that system. You loot what information you can get to put into your report, and then it's privilege escalation, which is then essentially just moving across the network to find more vulnerable targets. And then at the end of the game, at the end of the assessment, you write your report. So, I did that because, one of the challenges, like you said, is that if the child isn't interested, they're not going to want to listen, no matter how much the parents or the guardians tell them, you need to go in there and you need to be a programmer, or you need to be a developer, or you need to be a SOC analyst, or whatever. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it, and they're not going to be engaged. And we also live in a time where everybody has a phone. So they would rather look at their phone and see what's going on TikTok or whatever, rather than listen to someone say, this is what Nmap does. This is what this does, right? So you have to find a way to
Reach
make
them.
it engaging, and reach them. So, what are some tips that you would give, since you're in your fifth year? You're essentially an OG here now. What are some tips that you could give to help reach kids and teach them about tech?
So what you started with, the Fortnite, like, you gamify it for kids. Like, you make it a game. You make it because Scratch worked for a little bit because it looks like blocks, it's colorful. It caught little kids' attention. But what I ended up pivoting to, I don't know if you guys have heard of this software, Code Combat. I sing their praises wherever I go because it's a game, but they have to program their way through it. There's different, I guess I want to say courses, different courses. Some focus on game development, some just focus on basic, Python coding. Some of them focus on website HTML. Like, there's about 12, 15 different programs within it that you can build a class around. And I think it's so I've had kids as young as 7 like thrive in it. And then I've had kids, and it keeps kids as old as 17 because it challenges them. Like they're like, all right, they get the cute game, but like they're like, I'm challenged. It's not like it's very kiddie. So it's a really good tool, and the kids take to it. Their parents like, yeah, they came home and they were talking about I used Python and I learned about programming and loops and while true loops, and their parents like, what? They're learning, like, and that's another thing. I want them to actually take things away, but I want you to have fun. I was like, because honestly, I was like, if you're just looking at a window of code, I was like, it's boring, it's dry. I was like, I'm an adult. It's dry to me. So I know it's dry to you. Like, what? So it helps, like they got their code area on one side and they got the video game on the other. So you're using, like I said, those same skills you use. How do I beat this board? But you have to program those steps on this side. And it's great. Like the kids really love it. I've had some kids, like they took off like rockets. They're 2 courses. And I'm like, wait, you're ahead of the class. Like they're like, how come he's on a different level? Because he finished really fast. And I can't slow him down, which is fine. I don't want to, but so you can always see like some kids that are naturally good at it and they're really, really interested. And then some kids, even though they're not good at it, they'll keep trying. Like I've seen, he's like, no, I want to stay a little longer. Let me keep trying. He's like, because I can do this. Yep. Or, they'll ask for help. Like, so yep. I was like, it's an amazing tool. And parents can sign their kids up for it on their own now, because it used to be only available to teachers and educators to like give out to students. So, and the first level is free, I believe. So you can find out if your kid actually likes it before you sign up for a subscription. Like, it's a really good tool.
Yep, and for those who want to know more information about it, I actually just put it in the chat. It's codecombat.com. So yeah, go check that out, because I think that's super important, and especially we all talk about wanting to get kids more engaged a lot sooner. Because one of the things that I actually talked to my kids this week and said, I'm not telling you that you have to get into tech. Trust me, I'm not saying that this is what you have to do. I'm just telling you that I'm going to teach you and maybe even get you certified, at least in maybe like networking or network plus, security plus, and maybe a cloud certification, just so you have something to fall back on if your career doesn't work. Because one of the things that people, they know, but at the same time, they just don't seem to grasp the concept of that tech is going to be here forever. Right? People talk about automation and and robots are taking over our jobs and stuff. I had Rashad Morton on last week, and he talked about automation, and we talked about how you started to notice, unfortunately, and rightfully so, like Walmart employees and other employees started asking for more pay, and Walmart obliged for a little bit, but then what did you notice?
Self-checkout.
Couple self-checkouts. Then 6 months later, a couple more self-checkouts. Now you pretty much have 4 self-checkouts on one end, 4 self-checkouts on the other end, and then the middle is a couple aisles manned by actual people. So yeah, automation and AI and stuff like that is going to take over a lot of jobs, but those things still need to be configured. Those things still break.
Someone has to
fix it. Someone has to configure it. Someone has to install it. And guess what? Back to what you were saying when you were talking about the website design, you're paying for that skill. So
it may only take them 2 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
But you're paying for it.
Seriously. Like, or even back when you were talking about printers, I remember people were paying people to literally go to schools and offices just to install a printer. Just to install a printer and then go from computer to computer and install the drivers. Yep. And they were getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. And I was literally sitting there going, wait, that's a thing? So, so yeah, we have to try to put that message out there. And back to what you were saying about kids and people that look like us, we have to present a united front to show that this is a viable option. Because, I get it that I think the statistic was like only 8% African American, only 4% Latino or Latinx in the tech field. But we're not going to be able to boost that number. And And like I said last week, we're not going to boost. It's not going to be our generation that boosts that number. Like we're done.
No.
We're done. Like unfortunately,
No.
it's a wrap for us. But with things like what you're doing with the Flash Tech Summit is going to help spark the brain of the future generation. But there are also some who we could probably also help change from now. So what do you think we could do to just get it through to some people to get them into tech?
I guess I don't want to say free. Talk more about transferable skills, because I think that's something that people really don't believe when we say it. Like they're like, oh, I've been a teacher for this long. Like you have skills that can transfer right on over into tech. Like, and it doesn't have to necessarily be you have an amazing understanding of Windows, Linux. Like, those terms scare people that aren't familiar with tech at all. But technical writers, I said, those people are important. I was like, documentation is so important. I was like, oh my gosh. Like people need that. I was like, getting the word about different roles. And I don't even know how we would even do that, because there's a ton of roles and tons of software specializations you can like with Salesforce, like there's all these different things you can learn. And I guess looking at tech from the outside, that's overwhelming. You're like, okay, there's all these things. What am I supposed to do? Where do I go? So I definitely I will tell people about the different websites that have free classes. I was like, Udacity, Udemy, like clearly you can fall down a hole on Udemy, and I'm there. Yep. But just look at some free, inexpensive courses. Just see, okay, pay $10 for this or a free one, and just see if it speaks to you. If not, all right, put that down. That ain't it. There's just there's so many resources, and I'm always open. I'll answer questions in DMs if I see it. I'm like, if I see the question, hey, I'll answer it if I'm able to. It's just you can. There is room. There's more than enough room, and there's more than enough jobs. Don't get intimidated by the fact that you have never worked in tech. You've touched tech at some point. No, you didn't build the computer. No, you haven't wrote a line of code. Right. You haven't wrote a line of code. I was like, but find something that may pique your interest and just start there. Oh, let me take this free course, and see what it's about. Let me watch some YouTube videos, because there are plenty of creators. You're a creator, watch these videos and see what they're talking about when they're sharing about what they do or things that they've learned. Read some books. There's so many different ways to get in here now, or even to learn how to get in. I was like, that we didn't have. Y'all got so much in front of y'all. There's so much. It's right here.
Meetup groups.
Meetup
groups. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a hater. Because there weren't meetup groups like that, or if they were, you had to travel, right? You had to, right? Because it was like, oh, you want to join the DEF CON group? Cool. You're in Connecticut? Cool. Come to Jersey, right? It's
you're like, I'm a hater because I didn't have access to what you have access to.
I didn't have there wasn't a Udemy. There wasn't Udemy. It was literally you had to go to
college or some campus, some school,
or you had to go directly to the vendor. So if you wanted to get Microsoft certified, you had to go to Microsoft and pay whatever Microsoft was charging. If you wanted to go to CompTIA, I'll give credit where credit is due. CompTIA always stayed affordable, somewhere within the $200 $300 range, right? But a lot of these, there weren't study groups. There weren't
study groups. There weren't free courses. There's Microsoft, AWS, they all offer free. I'm like, there's a free course to help you learn the basics of cloud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, AWS does a free cloud practitioner course, and then I think the certification is like $100. But the kicker is, okay, you spend $100 for that, but then they turn around and give you half off the next exam and those resources.
You can keep building.
You can keep building it, and it's like none of this existed 5-10 years ago.
Nope. So it's I said, you had to pay for everything. You I want to learn this. They're like, yeah, sure, pay for it.
Okay, case in point, when I wanted to go to a classroom setting to learn ethical hacking and penetration testing, I had to drive to Washington D.C. from Connecticut and stay there for a week. They weren't even doing online courses like that yet. It was literally like I contacted the school and they were like, yeah, you can either go to DC or you can go to Florida or you can go to Vegas. Like, I'll go to DC.
Clear across the country, past DC, all the way to the bottom.
So yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So so take advantage of those groups. I mean, they do there's cybersecurity content on TikTok. Like there's no reason why you can't learn a quick tech skill and it's accessible as easy as your phone. So, I think we need to, we need to make that content, but we also need to do like what we're doing here. Like, for example, when I realized I said, okay, I got you on a schedule, and then I'm like, wait, hold on. Your summit's coming up really soon. Let's get it, let's schedule you earlier to get to get that out there so more people will be interested in the summit because it's necessary. What good is it to sit there and go, oh, you just had your summit, wait till next year for the next one, right? So we have to show people the opportunities and the resources when they're available, and we gotta, like I said, we gotta have that united front. On too many times it's like, this is how I did it, but I'm not going to share how I got there.
Like, why? That is gatekeeping. That's gatekeeping right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that is. Like, no, I'm gonna hold the door open. Sure, come now. You're gonna have to do the work. I'm not walking you through the door. I'm gonna hold it open and I'm gonna tell you, look, go that way. But like, there's like,
listen, I need help.
I don't want to be the only one.
I need help.
Right? Like, help me. Like, come on.
I'm not gatekeeping the damn thing. What gate?
Come on.
I'm burning the gate. I'm burning that bitch down. Please help me. Please.
Right.
I've been assessing things every day for the last 6 months. Help me.
I'm tired. I need help. Tag me out. Come on. Like, it's, and I think another big thing that we have to, and some people clearly don't, some people are just good working. More of us need to be C-suite. That's another thing. Like, there's not enough of us up there. Like, yes, okay, we're changing the landscape here. I said, we got to change it up there too. I was like, we got to get more people. So again, I was like, we ain't gatekeeping. We need more of us in here. And some of us got to stay because some people will get in and the environment, it isn't always the most welcoming. It's not, easy to, and then they leave. Like, they leave. I'm like, no, you gotta stay. I'm like, I ain't saying stay in a toxic work environment. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm like, don't leave tech altogether.
No.
Like, we gotta stay to hold the door open, to keep pushing. Like, somebody gotta stay. So that's another thing. It's like, you have to find that community once you do get into tech.
Yeah.
Which we were missing that too.
Yeah, we're not telling anybody to be a martyr, but yeah, if you can stick it out, yeah, we definitely need more people in those positions of power who can speak to it and speak for us. So, all right, so switching gears now, mom, organizer. Okay, so mom, organizer, network engineer, website designer. What are some of your hobbies, though?
Oh, I'm a nerd, so hold tight. I love Game of Thrones. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Jurassic movies. I do movies. I'm a Marvel girl, so we do movies. I love a good movie. What else? I'm getting back to reading. It used to be a big hobby, and then it got put on the back burner. So the pandemic has allowed me to reset that a little bit. So I like to read. I like to eat. I don't know if that's not technically a hobby. Me and my friends will go out to eat though.
Hey, listen, they call it what, like being a foodie. So yeah,
I'll allow it. Okay, I was like, so I like to eat. I mean, and just have fun. I mean, I do exercise, but but yeah, movies, gaming. Like, I used to game a lot. I don't as much anymore because clearly I don't have the time. But I was like, I love video games. I was like, my son is clear, he's a gamer, so he's not yelling currently, but which I think the only reason he's not is because I'm on here.
But that's considerate.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, okay, mom, thanks." I was like, "So I like the game, but yeah, sometimes it's just watching movies at home. Like we'll go out, we don't hike like professional hikers. Like we'll just go to the parks and like walk, but it's got cliffs and stuff, so it's kind of like hiking.
It's
But
like
yeah,
we walk this hill. Success.
Yeah, that's what we do. There's a hill and there's trees and there's rock. Like, but yeah, I like to have fun. Like I'll go hang out with my friends. Like I have lots of mom friends. Like I do plenty of things. That's just. But I'm a nerd deep down on the inside. So like a lot of stuff, they're like, Adrian, what are you doing? Watch, like I just finished rewatching Game of Thrones again. They was like, why? I said, I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment. I know this season.
I was gonna say you put yourself through that torture that was season 7 and 8.
7 wasn't that bad. 8 was terrible. 8 was terrible.
7 the first half of 7 wasn't bad.
Right.
And
I'm still waiting on that other book.
The second listen, man, look.
It ain't never coming.
He need to do something to redeem that show because that's all they're gonna remember after.
Well, we're getting House of Dragon, which is based on Fire and Blood, which I did read in its entirety. So they can't screw this up because they have source material, completed source material. They can't screw this up. I hope not.
But they and that's the other thing. They had so much source material to not rush through it. Like, where was Lady Stoneheart?
That's right. That part. I said, why did y'all feel the need to rush this? Like y'all could have did another season. Were y'all tired? Was George tired? What happened? We need to know. You didn't have to rush.
I was gonna say, from my understanding, it wasn't HBO's decision.
Oh,
yeah, it wasn't.
How I feel about Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. Yeah, listen, Final Fantasy.
That was my game too. I'm an RPG person. Final Fantasy was mine.
I was looking when they announced it, when it was called what was it, Versus 13, and then they said, no, we're not going to do Versus 13 anymore. We're just going to call it Final Fantasy 15. And I was chasing that. I think I was chasing that game down for about 4 years when they first showed like some test footage at E3. And that's the other thing. E3 is gone now, man. Okay, I'm not going to go on another rant. That's sad. That was on my bucket list. I said I was gonna go to E3 and I was gonna go to San Diego Comic-Con one year, and now it looks like E3 is gone. I'm not happy about that. So as you can see, yes, I'm also. So let's see. So okay, so we got your hobbies. So now, if someone came to you, we talked about your elevator pitch earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Someone came to you in an elevator pitch and said, "I need 3 tips. I'm new to tech and I need 3 tips." What would they be?
Read, because you have to have a little bit. You got to read. You have to. Like nothing is in bold print everywhere. You got to like to read and like to research. I'm sorry. To troubleshoot anything.
Hold on.
Hey, listen.
There you go. Continue, ma'am.
Reading. You don't have to love tech. You don't have to, but there's got to be a level of like there. Because there's gonna, just like any job, there's gonna be days where, why am I here? Why did it go away? Like, so just it comes with it can come with a bag. It comes with the same thing every job career has. It's ups and downs.
So I'll say this: you don't have to love tech as a whole.
No, you have to love what you
have to love, or at least really, really strongly like, almost love where you're at.
Where you're at in tech, yeah.
Yes. So
that's gonna help you on those days that it's like Rome is burning. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. I don't like these people. Let me see the last one though. Know that you can move around in tech. So if you're not married to what you came into in tech, if you came in on the networking side and you decide 5 years from now, this ain't it for me, pivot. You can pivot all over the place in tech. Yep. And your skills are going to help you in some of the areas. So you're not stuck into whatever you you got your degree in cyber or you got your degree in management. You're not stuck there. You're not, unless you want to be.
Hold on, we about to.
Hey, listen.
We're gonna do that one again because
You can pivot.
Yeah, that's a bar because it's the truth. I mean, I pivoted from help. Well, I did help desk to desktop support. From desktop support, then I worked my way up to sysadmin, and then I jumped into cyber. So yeah, there's definitely a pivot that the capability there. And Charles says facts. So,
Right, like I'm tired of this. All right, let me study something else.
but it goes back to but you can't pivot if you don't know your stuff. And if you don't know your stuff, you need to go back to rule number one, which you said was reading.
Read.
You gotta learn.
You gotta read. You gotta like to. There's a self-discipline that comes with being in tech because most people aren't going to give you. I mean, you can ask your colleague friends, but they're like, "Did you go look anything up?" Like you gonna have to have that type of self-discipline about yourself.
Yep.
To do that, you got to do the digging, do the research. Like you said, read. So yeah, not you. Wow.
Yeah, you gotta love it though.
Oh man, I'm about to say we have a couple. I have a couple guys like that at our org that like they're great though. They're like I like okay. I was like they're good people though. I love it, and I can pick their brains for stuff too.
I tell people like when I usually work jobs and they're like, you don't want to do anything else. I said, no, I enjoy pen testing. Look, put me in a room or give me a target, give me a couple weeks, let me play my music and leave me the hell alone. I will have your report written in 2 weeks with everything that I did. That's it. They're like, have you ever thought about? No, I haven't. I want to do this. Leave me alone.
Like, leave me alone. Go away.
So, yep. All right. So what are your goals for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year. So, I'm actually trying to pivot into cyber, oddly enough. So I've pushed my test date back a couple of times because life has been lifing for Security Plus.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been on Try Hack Me, not heavily because again, time. But so those are my two big goals. I know our security stuff, that area is expanding in a lot of companies. So I'm hoping I can, make that transition at some point this year.
Yeah.
Successfully wrap up year 5 of the summit. It's actually next weekend. It's virtual. So there's a little bit of anxiety there for me because again, not that technology is unreliable or anything, but it's kids and it's virtual and I know they're tired. So my anxiety comes from, are they going to enjoy this? Because it's virtual again, because it's normally in person, which, hopefully next year that's going to be back. We're going to be able to do that because I want to do it that way and I want everybody safe. Those are my two big goals for the year. And try not to cry over the summer because my son will be a senior after this summer is over. So, Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna come up with another goal because you're not gonna that's not gonna happen.
You're right. I was like, because I was ready to boo-hoo on his birthday this year. So you're right. I'm gonna fail at that one miserably.
Yeah, like we talk about my daughter all the time, and my daughter just started high school, and like my wife is like, she's gonna leave one day, and immediately you hear it, and it's like, okay, well, look, we're not doing this.
You're like, calm down. Like change the subject. Anything.
So seriously, so yeah, so you have to come up with another goal, but we could save that for another day. Let's see, where are we here? So final question.
Okay.
What is your why?
Ooh. For being in tech in general or just overall why?
Why do you do it? Like you talked about earlier, how you have to love what you do a little bit because you're gonna have those days. That I liken that to what I tell people, like, what is your why? And don't tell me it's just because of the money, because there's gonna be days where you go, F this, the money ain't worth it. So there's got to be something stronger than that, unless you get paid a lot of money. But even then, you're still gonna go,
right.
I need to do something else for this money. So what is so what is your why? What keeps you going? Why,
My why. I do legitimately enjoy it because I like learning new things. I like the challenge that it brings. Because again, I told you I can't get bored. Getting bored for me is bad. At work. it's a challenge to a degree, but then because it's always changing. Like that's what drew me into tech, because it wasn't going to stay where it was. So it's always something new to learn. Even if it's a little thing, there's like, oh wow, that's great. Like the things that excite people, like they're excited from a user perspective, and I am too. And I'm like, okay, well, how does this work? Like that's my next question. I'm like, this is great. How'd you do that? So it's something that keeps me on my toes. Even when troubleshooting is frustrating me and I want to just flip the whole desk over, it's keeping me on my toes. I said, when I get to the end of this problem, I'm gonna be like, wow. Or I'm gonna be like, duh, because there's those moments too, like
that was it. Yeah.
right. That was the problem the whole time. So that's the why. It's the challenge. It's the constant evolution of technology. It's ever changing. Like it's keeping me intrigued all the time. I'm like, oh, like things are going away. I'm like, I remember when I first learned that, and now it's not even a thing anymore. It's end of life. Like it's just gone. Like because we're on to the next new thing, and it's like so there's opportunity to continue to grow. It's not this is your job, this is what you're using for the next 30 years of your life. That's not my career. Like it's always changing. There's room for me to pivot. So that's my why for why I work. And because, of course, my other driver is I'm going to stay here. Even if I pivot 45 more times, I'm going to stay in this space to take up space, to make room for other people that look like me to do that. So I ain't going nowhere.
I love it. All right. So we're going to do this one just for you, since you was talking about the Final Fantasy. So again, thank you for joining, ladies and gentlemen. This has been my guest, Adrian McClanahan, Chic Diva Geek.
Thank you.
Please make sure you check out the Flash Tech Summit. If there's still time, you can tell them how to register for the event.
So we're actually at capacity, but do sign up for the newsletter.
That's a 5 years strong. Hell yeah, that's great.
So I'm excited. Do sign up for the newsletter though, because I always send when registration opens, I send it to them first. So previous attendees, just people on the newsletter will get that information first. The panel from the summit will be recorded, so I'll be posting that on YouTube. Make sure I share it on LinkedIn. I shared the one from last year as well. So I make sure people get to see the panel. Can't record the kids, but we definitely record the panel with the professionals on it, so you guys can take a look at that and connect with some of your peers you may not know, because we got in this space. Like we need to know each other. We need to know about each other. We need to know, hey, like I see you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna add, keep me posted about next year's summit. And if you need someone to join the panel, let me know. I don't care if it's in person or virtual. We'll figure it out.
Okay, I was about to say, so okay, good. So I won't feel bad. I was like, I said it was right here. I was like, So I was like, I'm gonna keep that in mind, because again, I always make sure it's a good balance of men and women in different careers too. So I was like, I want them to see different professional fields represented too.
No, that's important. So again, and I'm all for trying to get the kids in tech. So again, thank you. Tell the people how to find you.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Chic Diva Geek, ChicDivaGeek. And my website is chicdivageek.com. The website for the summit is flashtechsummit.com. Sign up for the newsletter and you'll find me in one of them places.
All right, there you go. So make sure you do that. Make sure you go follow her. Whoa, no, I don't want to do that. There you go. Make sure you go follow her. Make sure you go sign up for the newsletter, and make sure you support the Flash Tech Summit. Again, we believe the children are our future, in the Whitney Houston voice. So make sure you do that. Make sure you support what Adrian's got going on. And again, good luck to you on your journey for Security Plus. I'm pretty sure there's some people here in the chat. I see Khalil is here. There's some people here in the chat that you can also utilize for help. Again, utilize the meetup groups, because they there. I'm hating. But let me stop it there before I start hating again. But But ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, this has been another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I've been your host, Davin Jackson. This has been my guest, Adrian McClanahan. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for rocking with me, even though we've had some technical difficulties. I think we're doing a little better now, of course, as we get to the end of the show. But hopefully you aren't tired of me or my face or my voice, because you need to tune in tomorrow, because I'll have another episode of Hacker Valley Blue, which is launching tomorrow. I will not reveal who the guest is for tomorrow. You'll have to see it when it launches, but it's going to be another great show, another great conversation. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope everyone has enjoyed this season. Please let the people over at Hacker Valley know that you've enjoyed the season, so we can, maybe keep it rolling into a season 2. Wishful thinking, fingers crossed, who knows. But speaking of Hacker Valley, make sure you check out Hacker Valley Blue tomorrow. But tonight, make sure you go check out Chris and Ron. I believe they're on LinkedIn, and I think they're going to be on YouTube as well. But they're doing their latest episode of Technically Divided. And this is going to be another great conversation, because they're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of artificial intelligence. So that's going to be a great conversation. I love what they're doing over there, how they're doing that whole concept of, bringing the people together and having that healthy debate. So go check that out. That's actually going to be airing live in 7:30. So couldn't find the clock. So make sure you go check that out. And then make sure you're back here next Thursday, because I will be hosting InfoSec Unplugged with my guest, Louis Arnold III. So we'll be talking to him about his tech journey and about why he has a hard time keeping his shirt on social media. Nah, I'm messing with him though. It's all love. But seriously, keep your shirt on. So no, I'm messing with. We joke. Don't cancel me. I'm sorry. So until then, please be safe out there. Get lots of rest, drink your water, mind your business, do your work, do the hustle, enjoy it, love one another, and I will see you all next week. Oh wait, but let me make sure. Let me not rush everybody off. Let me make sure. Okay, so we're good on the chat. No Q&A. So Adrian, again, thank you for joining.
And thank you for having me. Seriously,
no
thank you.
Oh no, not a problem. Anytime. And like I said, we'll probably do it again next year for the next one.
I'm about to say, you're gonna be on the other end. We're gonna be asking you questions for the kids next year.
Let's go. I'm with it. So I'm gonna behave myself. So so until then, I will see you all next week. Y'all take it easy. Let's get out of here.
Bye, y'all.